Hello, Merry Meet. Today I want to discuss pendulum charts because I've gotten some questions about what they are, where to get them, and basically how you can use them for dowsing. So basically, a pendulum chart is usually a half circle that has little pizza slices with various forms of replies on it. This is because while the pendulum is an awesome divination system, it tends to be limited to yes, no, and maybe replies. And sometimes you need more than that. So, for example, you can have one of those charts with the letters of the alphabet, or you could have it with, let's say, you are looking for somebody's lost wedding ring. Then you make a pendulum chart, and that has all the rooms in it: the bedroom, second bedroom, kitchen, all of the rooms in their house, and you use the pendulum over that to have an indication if the ring is in any of those rooms. So I'll show you a couple of charts because I have a couple in the book here. There we go. I think they are in the back. Yep. Here we go. For example, this is a pendulum chart. As you see, it's a half circle. Then you have various things written on it. Now, generally speaking, you can buy these in various forms of books, but they tend to be expensive because it's a niche market. So, generally speaking, it is a lot better to just make these yourself than to buy them at the store. And I will just go over very simply how you can make your own pendulum charts because it's not difficult at all. Let me bring back up these charts. Let me find a simple one here. Bum, bum. See, not all of them are half circle. Some of them are a circle as well. But it's generally easier with a half circle because then you just hold the pendulum here over the midpoint, and it can swing in either direction. Well, with when you have one that's a complete circle, you have to be careful that it's actually which direction it's actually showing. But let me see if I can find some here. Here's a simple one. Generally speaking, what you do is that you take a piece of paper, or if you want to make it fancy, just take a piece of cardboard, and you draw a half circle. Now, if you want to be very accurate about it, you can use a bowl or something like that to get the circle proper, or you can even use one of those. No, oh, what are they called? You know, in school when you are using it to draw circles for math? Yeah, that tool to get the circle proper. But that isn't as important. It's just getting the rough half circle shape. Or a circle if you prefer that, but I generally find it much easier to use a half circle for a pendulum chart. Then what you do is that you draw a line straight up, and then basically half it, and half it on that side, half it again. Basically, by doing that, you get the slides. I mean, the slices of your little pendulum chart pizza the same size. If you can of course just draw one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. But then, if you, for example, you want, you have 8 rooms in a house that you want to do a dowsing for, to find this lost wedding ring, then it tends to be that the first ones are pretty big, and then you discover that, oh, I need to fit all of them, and then the other ones gets very small, or the other way around. So by first drawing the first line, because you have already a line here because it's a semicircle, and then you half that space, and half that space, and you do that one more time. Basically, by doing it that, it's much easier to get that even, and you just write up what it is you want each section to say: bedroom, second bedroom, attic, all of the rooms, and then you are go. Simple as that. And if you want to have them looking more professional, you can make these in something like Paint Shop or any other. What's wrong with this hearing now? Or any other similar program, and just print it out. You can even print it out on a bit of cardboard stock, and then just laminate that, and you have a gorgeous pendulum board. But of course, often you won't need that, because often it's a question that you encounter right then and there that needs more than a yes or no answer. And so you put the answer alternatives in these little slices, and then you can get your pendulum to say more than just yes or no. So some suggestions about what to use this for are, for example, like I said, looking for something where you basically have the various places where it can be. Often when you're looking for something over a larger area, like for example, you might have lost the ring at the park, it's better to get just a map of the park and then just triangulate with your pendulum to try to find the exact coordinates about where it is. But if you, for example, know that the thing that you are looking for, you know that you happen to have exactly the kind of screwdriver that you need to get that bloody piece of IKEA furniture back together, but you don't know exactly where it is, then you just write up the alternatives and douse over that. Or it can be other things, like for example, if you don't know, if you want to do a divination with this about a choice, you write up the different choices you have in these boxes and you do a divination over that. Or you can do it with basically a Ouija board style, with just having letters and going over it that. Or you can have numbers, so that you can, for example, then it is easier to get a reply in the form of numbers. So basically anything where you can put a selection of alternatives. Now, how big should the pendulum board be? It doesn't really matter as long as you can comfortably read it, but the more sections, the bigger the board should be, because otherwise it looks rather chaotic and it can be difficult to read. Let me show an example. Oh, hello. Where do we have a good example? Here is basically a plain board. So if you get this book, it's called Pendulum Bridge to Infinite Knowing. I am planning on reviewing it soon, but I haven't finished reading it. If you get that, you can just copy this and make your own. But it's also extremely easy to do it just from scratch. Where did we have one of those that was? Here we have. As you can see, getting the right one, then you need a pretty sharp point pendulum. But if this was, for example, an A3 size, isn't that when you have basically the twice the size of an A4? Then it wouldn't be as chaotic. So for example, they're going to have all the numbers of the alphabet and so on. I prefer just going to the bookstore and getting one of those big sheets of, I think that's A3 pieces of paper. Those that are twice the size of an A4. And just do it on that one, because then you can have all of it there. Now, you can do a dowsing on basically use your pendulum as the pointer on a regular Ouija board as well. There's absolutely nothing against that. It works pretty well. But by doing it like this, you sort of play into the pendulum's strength While sometimes when you're holding the pendulum over a board, it can be a bit difficult to get to know exactly which letter it's stopping on. Well, this you just see which part it stops, which section it's indicating. So I'm going to try to show you how this would work. It's not that easy when I'm talking into a webcam like this, because I should have had a camera that I could hold and show you from the top down, but we will try. Let's find one of these again. There we have some nice pendulum charts. Let's go with one with big sections here. Here we go. It has colors. So, for example, then I would put it so that the pendulum board. Let me see if we can have it so you can actually see it if we do this. Yes, you can see. Let's see if we do this. Yay, we can see. Basically, facing away from you. And as you see here, it has lots of colors. So it's for example, figuring out exactly what kind of color you need in the form of color therapy, color magic, like that. So I would just hold the pendulum over the point. The point would be that little one there. That's in the center. And I would ask it, what color do I need today? What color does my energy need today? You can see it starts swinging. It doesn't seem to decided yet. There we go, and it swings over blue. That's basically how you do it. It's nothing more than that. You basically just hold the pendulum over the point and swing it, and basically let it provide an answer. It can be a very accurate form of divination and one that expands the scope of what you can get with a pendulum. So yeah, and like I said, there are some pendulum chart collections. I have one book of it, but I don't remember what it's called. But it wasn't that expensive. If you look on Amazon for pendulum charts, you should be able to find some. But a lot of those packages of pendulum charts are very pricey, and they shouldn't need to be, because you can make them so easily by yourself. If you don't worry about being neat, you can just decide, well, line, half circle, put the line in the middle, part it into two, part those twos, part these sections again for however many you need. Done. And you can make a pendulum chart in a minute for about any question that you need. So it's a very useful tool to have in your divinatory toolkit for when you want to ask a pendulum something that cannot be indicated just by yes or no, or for something that which one of these substances do I need right now, and so on and so forth. Now, it should be added by this that there's some people that are terrified of the Ouija board. I have made videos about that, how this is created by Hollywood, and that the Ouija board is no more or less dangerous than any other divination system. However, if you have a personal problem with the Ouija board, then of course you should not do a letter thing and try to get replies from spirits with it. Because that would be exactly the same thing. Now, like I said, I have absolutely no problem with that. Just make sure you protect yourself. But if you have a problem with it, it would be exactly the same thing. What you can do, of course, is to try to, for example, get replies from your subconscious. I find that to be extremely useful when it comes to the pendulum, contacting my own subconscious and sort of like, for example, I have a tendency to get depressions and anxieties, and they just hang themselves on something. And then using divination to try to figure out what's really the problem. Because if I deal with the thing that it's just sort of said, you're scared of this thing right now, it doesn't really help, because it just then moves on to something else, because it's not really the issue, it's just what it's hanged itself on right now. However, if I then do that and sort of then ask it, what are the real problem right now? I might get a reply. Very often I find that for myself, I often get better replies when it comes to my own subconscious, when it comes to the pendulum, than a lot of other things. But I do think that you also can contact spirits, energies, gods, angels, or whatever it is you are working with. Anyway, that's a sort of 101 information on pendulum boards. They are very simple to make and very practical, very useful. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a great day and blessed be.